is, no one knows the structure and the soul of Iran. What is the soul of Iran? Where does it come from? Okay, it is rooted in a difference between Sunni and Shia Islam. Okay, most Muslims in the world are Sunni. Iran is the head of the Shiite branch of Islam, and it's not even a branch of Islam. And this is the difference between the two ideologies. Now, how did the Shia Islam come about, and why is it in Iran? If you were to take out Iran from the Shiite equation, it actually makes Shiites very much negligible in terms of the wider Muslim world. Sunnis make about 90% plus. Shiites make about around 10% or minus. And if you take out Iran, which is like 90 million, that's pretty much the entire thing gone. However, what is the difference between the two? And why are they separate branches? Well, it's not like Christianity where a schism happened. Schisms happen when the belief in God changes its form. Sunnis and Shiites don't believe in different gods or the nature of God. They believe in the same God and the same prophets. There is actually no difference theologically between the two of them. They're more akin to a political party difference, because Islam is a political way of living under Sharia law as much as it is a religion. It is a political institution, right? So that's where the difference happens. These are like the Democrats and the Republicans, if you will. And the difference comes from a succession crisis, a political crisis. It's not religious. So when Prophet Muhammad died, there were two candidates in that position. And the Shiites disagreed with the Sunnis on who that should be. Sunnis thought it should be Abu Bakr, and the Shiites thought it should be Ali. And that's where the name Shia comes from. It's Shiatul Ali. Okay, it's Ali's party. That's the main difference. It's not religious, it's just political. And because this difference happened so long ago, they led to different traditions. And those traditions, due to various political realities, got centralized in Iran today. It went to Egypt in some type of period in the Fatimids, but it kept on changing. However, it found a comfort spot in Iran, where Shah Ismail, with the force of the sword, decided to convert Iran to 12 Shiaism. And that's how Shiaism became a thing. There are Shiite areas in the wider Muslim world, like in Lebanon. But it's also interesting that a lot of the Shiites were converts from either Judaism or Arian Christianity, which is interesting. And some Nestorians and Manichaeans. And this is an interesting concept. Like the Lebanese example, a lot of Maronites became Shiite because the concept of Ali is very much embedded in Christian culture. In that Ali was seen as, well, it's the similarities between Shiaism and Christianity are as follows. It's adulation. It's over-adulation due to perceived injustice. Okay? So Ali was unjustly killed while he was praying when he was supposed to continue his reign as caliph. He does become the caliph, the ruler of the Islamic world later, but he gets unjustly killed while he's praying. And this leads to factionalism. Due to this injustice, and then his children also get killed. So this injustice is what the Shiite resonate the most about, due to how Christians resonate with the injustice done to Jesus Christ. Okay, it's the same emotional religious feeling, and Shiites and Christians have a similar concept of religion in that people are guilty in that sense, right? Shiites think the Muslim world and the material world is guilty due to the injustices done to Ali. Right, so that's the concept. That's why most Muslims that revert to Christianity are usually Shia, because the concepts flow between Shiites and Christians. That is why, and they also care about the bloodline more. And that is why they have a Catholic-like structure in Shiitism. So, when people talk about the Ayatollah leading Iran, they're not just leading Iran, they're leading Shia Islam. So, when people say Ayatollah, people in Iran don't call the Ayatollah if you subscribe to his way. And by the way, being Persian doesn't qualify you in these topics, okay? Just because you're Persian doesn't mean you know the shit. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm Iranian, I'm Persian, this and that. No, shut up. You don't know anything. I know, okay? This is a double-breasted. Cut that out, that's bullshit. Anyways, so Iran represented by the Shia. In Iran, they don't call the Ayatollah, okay? They call him Rehber, okay? What is the Rehber? It means guide in Farsi, okay? Which is the guide of their Sharia law. The person who guides them in their way. Like a monarch, right? What is a monarch? It is a monarchia. One ruler, one guide. Compare this to a democratia, which is multiple, hard rule. Monarchia means one guide. Okay, it's a gentle guide, not a kratos where it's hard. That is the main difference between monarchia and democratia. So monarchia is represented in Shiite Islam through the rehber. Okay, Ayatollah is another name for it, but most Iranians call him rehber today, and Shiites call him rehber, unless they're Arab. Anyways, long story short, he is the Pope. So killing, just imagine how Catholics would feel if the Pope got killed. That's how Shiites feel now that their guide is killed. Okay? Shiite branch also believes in the infallibility. Just like Catholics believe in the infallibility of the Pope, they believe in the infallibility of their Ayatollah, their Rehber. So when you make these decisions, they're not light decisions to be made. You're causing internal division. And this pretty much fits in to the Shiite theology of injustices. So when you kill people like this, their worldview doesn't change. You actually make more, you spread zealotry across the realm. You spread corruption in the realm. You give people oil to their fire, their eternal fire, and that's what Shiitism is all about. And that's what that tradition represents. It's not a different religion, it's Islam. But they just have follow a different tradition with a different pattern of theological understanding. So this clashes, this guide, this moral guide, which is, if you were to take ancient political philosophy, is a more moral, because who is to dictate morality? America? Is this what we're doing? So Iran's a bad country because America said so. I mean, why do you have to impose your own morality upon others? Isn't that immoral in and of itself? Something to think about there, right? So why are you going against your own people's wishes to invade another country just because you were told by another one to do so? So you're just a glorified thief at the end of the day. That was persuaded by another one. So why did we pick Iran, by the way, to teach him freedom and morality? Why couldn't we do it anywhere else in the world? There's plenty of examples where injustices are done and immoralities are done. Oh, but because the Antichrist is said to have come from Iran. Maybe that's an interesting thing to look into. Maybe because the Shiites are so dedicated to their faith and are ruled by a moral guide of their own morality. They pose a threat to different forms of government in the Middle East. Something to think about. The point is that morality can never be objective. It can never be objective. And governments need to represent that fact and create their own moral structures. And imposing one morality on another is not moral in and of itself. That's why it's important to understand religions and people who adhere to those religions, so you understand where they're coming from. Blaise Pascal, I will paraphrase. His most famous quote, I would say, is, "Most world's problems come from people being unable to sit in a room and think." End paraphrase. But that's what it is. If people were to just sit down and think about why people are doing what they're doing, there wouldn't be war as such. If Trump sat down with no one telling him what to do, without his phone, just sat in a room, should I go to war in Iran? And he thought about it for an hour, he would for sure say no. It's not because he's a moral human being, it's just he has a brain and he thinks. If the Zionists sat down in a room and just thought, maybe they would be more merciful to Palestinians, but no one does that. Isn't that crazy? Humans, we think we're the smartest creatures in the world, but no one can just sit in a room and think about what they're going to be doing. Maybe there'd be more mercy in the world and less wars. Maybe if the Ayatollah sat down in the room himself and thought about, should I do this to my own people? Maybe he'd be more merciful as well. But this is the very problem that the world is suffering from. We're too distracted and too materialistic. No one has a moral compass, and no one has time to just sit down and think. And that's my advice to you. Just sit down and think and be merciful. We're all humans at the end of the day, born into different traditions. You don't even pick your religion or your way of understanding. So just sit down and think. That's it for that one. Whew.